Let's pause reality for a second. Yes, right now. Because if you clicked on this video after experiencing that strange, piercing ringing at exactly 4:44, and if you, by any chance, also carry the letter M or the perfect crescent moon on your palm, then I need you to understand something. This is not just another random video, and that ringing you heard? It wasn't just sound. It was an encrypted message, a dimensional transmission, an energetic pulse targeted directly at you. You weren't supposed to ignore it. This channel is not like the thousands of others you scroll past on YouTube. This platform was built as a spiritual radar system, tracking those whose timelines are on the verge of shifting. If you're still here, still listening, it means your frequency was strong enough to pull you here today. And there's a reason for that. You're part of a group that was marked long before you even knew these codes existed. Marked by two universal stamps that most people are sacred: the letter M and the perfect crescent moon on your palms. Now let's talk about why 444 is appearing around your ear-ringing experience. You see, while others wake up to alarms, you wake up to frequencies. There's something about the number 4, isn't there? It repeats in hours, in receipts, in license plates, in dreams you barely remember when you wake. And now, it's showing up alongside a sound that feels like it came from somewhere beyond this dimension. Here's what most people miss. 444 isn't just a number. It's a structural code. In the language of the spiritual dimensions, the number 4 is tied to foundation, stability, and cosmic architecture. But when it appears as a triple sequence 444, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes an urgent broadcast, a vibration to shake your current reality, a multidimensional ripple that reaches not just your ears, but your core blueprint as a chosen one who hears ringing at 444 gets this message. Not everyone feels that skin-tingling, chest-tightening pull like you did. The letter M and the crescent moon on your palms act like spiritual antennas. They filter out background noise, leaving only the true, high-level transmissions for you. So if this happened to you recently, if your ears rang right when the clock hit 4:44, then listen closely. This is not just a sign, it's an activation. And the message hidden inside that ringing is this: you've outgrown your old frequency. Your spiritual foundation is being recalibrated for your next assignment. Let that sink in. For weeks, maybe even months, you felt a sense of restlessness, like life was on pause, like things that used to feel aligned suddenly stopped working. You tried pushing, you tried manifesting, you even questioned if you were doing something wrong spiritually. But now, you know, the resistance wasn't failure, it was preparation. Your higher dimensions have been waiting for the right vibrational moment to send this tone. That's why it happened at 4:44. That's why you were pulled here to this channel. And yes, before you ask, there's a reason this message isn't reaching everyone. Because not everyone has the energetic seal you carry. Not everyone was born with these two celestial fingerprints burned into their DNA and palms. That's why this channel exists. To track you, to find you, to wake you up when the clock hits at these dimensional tipping points. This is more than content. This is a recalibration tool for the marked ones. Now, before we dive deeper into what exactly the 4:44 ringing means for your current timeline, your spiritual enemies, and your next 72-hour energetic window, I want to ask you something important. Have you noticed other signs stacking up recently? Have you seen repeating numbers like 222 or 333 popping into your reality right before or after the ringing episode? Disrupted at unusual times like 2:22 a.m. or 3:33 a.m. Has your intuition felt louder, but your external life felt heavier? If yes, That's your confirmation. We're going to break this down step by step in this video. Not with shallow internet definitions, but with decoded spiritual language designed for the chosen with the letter M and the crescent moon on their palms. You're not going to leave here confused. You're going to leave here aligned and armed. Now, I want you to take a second, breathe deep, place your hand over your heart, feel the pulse, feel the energy that brought you here, because what we're about to unlock could be the most important frequency shift you've experienced in months, maybe even years. Are you ready? Because we're just getting started. Before we dive deeper, I want to pause here and speak to you directly, not just as a viewer, but as someone who's clearly part of this spiritual minority group we've been talking about. If you've recognized yourself in these signs, if you're carrying the letter M and the perfect crescent moon on your palms, and if you've experienced that intense ringing at 4:44, then I need to ask you something from the heart. This channel wasn't built for millions. It was built for the few, for those scattered across this planet, waiting for confirmation, guidance, and connection. So if this message is touching something deep inside you right now, please pause and hit that subscribe button. Not because I want a number, but because this is how I know who's out there, who's listening, and who's ready for more of these decoded transmissions built exclusively for people like you. Also, while you're here, I'd love it if you could do something very personal for me. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one topic, one burning question, one spiritual mystery that you want me to cover next? Something you've been holding inside, something you've been asking the universe about. Feedback is how I shape the next spiritual codes that I'll be releasing here. Now, back to the ringing at 4:44. This is where things get more specific. What many don't realize is that 4:44 represents more than just foundation and protection. It also marks a timeline junction. Think of your life path like a multi-dimensional river. Most people float downstream, oblivious, letting the current pull them wherever. But chosen ones like you're being pulled toward a spiritual branching point. That ringing wasn't random background noise. It was a timeline pulse. At exactly 4:44, your guide sent a vibrational shock to your auric field, triggering your internal navigation system. The message behind this ringing is simple but powerful. Shift or stay stuck. And this is where things get real. For the next 72 hours after your 4:44 ringing episode, you'll notice a series of emotional, mental, and even physical shifts happening around you. Expect sudden mood, memories resurfacing. Expect people from your past suddenly appearing in your dreams or social media feeds. This is all part of the recalibration. Why 72 hours? Because in numerology, 7 represents spiritual awakening, and 2 represents alignment of choices. Together, they form a window where your decisions, your thoughts, and your focus carry amplified impact across dimensions. What you think about during this window, what you choose to act on, or what you choose to ignore, will either anchor your elevation or delay your next spiritual breakthrough by weeks, sometimes even months. And this is exactly why your spiritual team sent that ringing. They're pushing you to become aware, to snap out of autopilot, and to step into active manifestation and protection of your timeline. But wait, there's another layer. Some of you listening might already be seeing other numeric sequences stacking alongside 4:44. Like 222 equals decisions and balance. 333 equals ascended guidance. These codes are appearing within the same week or even the same day as your ringing event. It's not a coincidence, it's a multi-dimensional conversation. You're being asked to consciously participate in your own shift. And here's something most people don't know. Whenever 444 and ear ringing collide, there's usually a hidden emotional blockage about to surface. Fear, doubt, old limiting beliefs you thought you'd already healed. You might feel sudden anxiety without reason. You might start questioning your worth. You might feel tempted to shrink back from opportunities that show up out of nowhere. Why? Because as your frequency rises, your internal resistance fights back. Your ego, your survival mind, even unresolved trauma, all start screaming, "Stay where it's safe. Don't step into the unknown." But here's the truth no one told you. The unknown is where your activation waits. The unknown is where your next assignment exists. The unknown is exact. 444. Now, I want you to do something for me. As you're watching this, take a moment and look at your right palm. Find the letter M. Trace the lines where your crescent moon curves naturally. And as you do, say this silently or out loud. I acknowledge the code. I'm ready for my next dimensional step. It doesn't have to be loud. It just needs to be intentional. Because energy responds to decision. And after this video, the synchronicities will speed up even more. The people who need to exit your life will start falling away. New ideas, new projects, even sudden spiritual downloads in your dreams. They're all on their way. All because you answered the call. The 444 call. The chosen one's frequency checkpoint. Now, are you ready to go even deeper? Because in the next section, I'm going to break down the hidden spiritual enemies that often appear right after the 444 activation, and why you're more vulnerable to interference in the days following. Even deeper now, because this is the part almost no one talks about, and yet it's one of the most dangerous phases after your 444 activation. You see, whenever a chosen one like you gets a dimensional wake-up, whenever the ringing aligns with a sacred number like 444, it doesn't just alert your spirit guides. It also sends a ripple across the unseen realms. And not every entity, vibration, or energy wants to see you ascend. That's the hard truth. The part of spiritual awakening that feels less like light and more like war. Right after your ringing at 444, you enter what many spiritual teachers call the window of interference. This window usually lasts between 3 to 7 days after your activation, and during this time, you'll start noticing strange patterns, subtle but unmistakable. People you haven't talked to in years, suddenly texting you. Opportunities that seem too good to be true, popping up out of nowhere. Sudden emotional outbursts, arguments with people. Why? Technical glitches that block you from doing the things you know are aligned with your growth. Sound familiar? That's not bad luck. That's interference. Because here's what happens on an energetic level. The moment your vibration spikes after a 444 ringing event, it creates a new energetic signature in your auric field. That signature acts like a beacon, signaling to both higher helpers and lower disruptors that you've crossed the threshold. And the disruptors, the spiritual blockers, their entire mission is to stop you before the shift locks into your timeline. They do it by draining your emotional energy through unnecessary drama, creating doubt cycles in your mind, triggering fatigue and lack of motivation, making you second-guess every intuitive decision you feel pulled to make. Sometimes, the interference even shows up in your sleep. You'll notice nightmares, dreams where you're running in circles, or being chased by shadowy figures, or worse, doctors failing at something repeatedly, no matter how hard you try. Why does this happen? Because these dream attacks are designed to erode your confidence during waking hours. The goal is simple. If they can weaken your energy field before your next energetic checkpoint, they can delay your breakthrough by weeks, sometimes even months. This is why understanding the timing is critical. After a 444 activation, the following time periods are especially sensitive. The first 24 hours, expect emotional triggers. Between 48 to 72 hours, watch for external distractions and unexpected invitations that pull you off your path. Day 4 to Day 7, spiritual fatigue and moments of sudden hopelessness can peak. Now let me tell you something most people overlook. Your hands, the letter M, and the crescent moon on your palms aren't just spiritual identifiers. They're also energetic shields. Yes, the very lines on your hands hold latent defensive frequencies, but only if you see them. And here's how. Whenever you feel like something is draining you, whenever your mind spirals, or when doubts creep in during this interference window, do this simple exercise. Hold both palms facing your heart. Close your eyes. Visualize a golden light flowing from each line, especially from the M and the crescent moon curves. Say this silently or aloud. No external force can block my ordained timeline. I realign. I reclaim. I move forward. You don't need candles. You don't need elaborate rituals. Your hands are the ritual. This is why you were born with these marks. They're not random. They're not cosmetic. They're defense mechanisms, designed for moments exactly like this. Let me also give you a quick checklist of common false signs that show up during interference periods. Sudden offers or deals that feel too good but come with rushed deadlines. Unexpected negative messages, comments, or calls that trigger self-doubt. Random health flare-ups, e.g., chest pressure. Feelings of isolation or like nobody understands your current spiritual experience. If you're experiencing any of these right now, it's not a coincidence. It's part of the energy pushback. But here's your advantage. Because you're aware now, you won't fall for the traps others do. You'll observe, pause, and move in alignment, instead of reacting emotionally and throwing your frequency off track. And here's a powerful reminder. The stronger the interference, the bigger the breakthrough that's coming on the other side. In fact, many chosen ones report that 3 to 7 days after a 444 ringing event with intense interference, they suddenly receive the answer, the opportunity, or the spiritual clarity they'd been waiting for. But only if they didn't cave in during the window. So right now, if you've been feeling under pressure, if this past week felt like emotional turbulence, know this. It's confirmation that your dimensional door is close. Reach. And the final test is how you navigate this interference. In the next section, I'm going to share with you a step-by-step energetic protection ritual, specifically designed for those who carry the letter M and the crescent moon on their palms, to lock in your frequency and complete your 444 activation window safely. Let's go even deeper now, because this is the part almost no one talks about, and yet, it's one of the most dangerous and misunderstood phases after your 444 activation. You see, whenever a chosen one like you gets a dimensional wake-up, whenever the ringing aligns with a sacred number like 444, it doesn't just alert your spirit guides. It also sends a ripple across the unseen realms, and not every entity, vibration, or energy wants to see you ascend. That's the hard truth, the part of spiritual awakening that feels less like light and more like war. Right after your ringing at 444, you enter what many spiritual teachers, seers, and a window of interference. This window usually lasts between 3 to 7 days after your activation, and during this time, you'll start noticing strange patterns, subtle but unmistakable. People you haven't talked to in years suddenly texting you. Opportunities that seem too good to be true, popping up out of nowhere. Sudden emotional outbursts, arguments with people you love, unexpected financial worries appearing out of thin air, or even technical glitches that block you from doing the things you know are aligned with your growth. Sound familiar? That's not bad luck. That's interference. Because here's what happens on an energetic level. The moment your vibration spikes after a 444 ringing event, it creates a new energetic signature in your auric field. That signature acts like a beacon, signaling to both higher helpers and lower disruptors that you've crossed a threshold. And the disruptors, the spiritual blockers, their entire mission is to stop you before timeline. They do it by draining your emotional energy through unnecessary drama, creating doubt cycles in your mind, triggering fatigue and lack of motivation, making you second-guess every intuitive decision you feel pulled to make, amplifying old traumas, making them feel fresh again. Sometimes, the interference even shows up in your sleep. You'll notice nightmares, dreams where you're running in circles, or being chased by shadowy figures. Or worse, dreams that feel like you're failing at something repeatedly, no matter how hard you try. Why does this happen? Because these dream attacks are designed to erode your confidence during waking hours. The goal is simple. If they can weaken your energy field before your next energetic checkpoint, they can delay your breakthrough by weeks, sometimes even months. This is why understanding the timing is critical. After a 444 activation, the following time periods are especially sensitive. The first 24 hours, expect unusual irritability. Between 48 to 72 hours, watch for external distractions and unexpected invitations that pull you off your path. Day 4 to day 7, spiritual fatigue, apathy, or moments of sudden hopelessness often peak here. And here's another important layer nobody tells you. During this interference window, you may start questioning the ringing itself. You'll start hearing that small, doubting voice. Maybe it was just tinnitus. Maybe 444 doesn't mean anything after all. Maybe I'm imagining all of this. This doubt loop is a classic interference tactic. Because if the enemy can convince you that none of this was real, you'll lower your frequency and miss the alignment moment that's trying to manifest for you. Now let me speak directly to you again. If this is resonating, if the last few days felt heavier than usual, if mood swings, emotional triggers, or spiritual numbness hit you right after the 444 ringing, know this, it's not your fault. It's energetic warfare. And you're right in the middle of it because your light became too loud to ignore. Your hands, the letter M and the crescent moon on your palms, aren't just spiritual identifiers. They're also energetic shields, built into your physical vessel for moments exactly like this. And here's how you activate them. Whenever you feel your energy dipping, whenever your thoughts spiral, or when sudden, unexplainable heaviness wraps around your chest like a fog, pause. Hold both palms facing your heart. Close your eyes. Visualize a golden thread of light running from the lines on your hands, connecting directly to your heart center, then expanding outward, creating a protective dome around you. And then speak these words with intention. I realign with my original timeline. I reject all interference. I command restoration of my spiritual field. This small yet powerful gesture sends a pulse back out to the same energetic grid that's been targeting. Frequency interaction and restoring your sovereignty. Some people ask me, but how often should I do this during the interference window? The answer is as often as you feel your mood shift for no reason. Some days it might be once. Other days, 5, 6, even 10 times. The key is consistency and conscious awareness. Also, watch your environment. The interference won't just come through people or thoughts. It may manifest through sudden social media negativity, random online distractions, even temptations to binge scroll or numb yourself with entertainment. Stay alert. Stay mindful. These distractions are engineered to fragment your focus and pull you out of alignment with the dimensional opening that your 444 ringing marked. Now, let me give you a quick emotional truth bomb. If your last few days felt like chaos, if it seemed like everything and everyone suddenly turned against you, if tears came without warning, or if you felt like giving up on towards spiritually, that's your clearest confirmation that the interference is real. Because the darker the pushback, the closer your breakthrough. This isn't the time to retreat. This is the time to anchor. Because once you pass this window, a phase of intense synchronicity, abundance, and spiritual clarity will flood into your reality.